And we are live. Hello, everyone.
Hello. How are you, Sabrina?
I'm good. I just got off a webinar talking about this exact same topic, actually,
Amazing.
part of it.
Amazing.
So it's been me raving on about this already for an hour and a half,
Okay.
but it'll lead very beautifully into our 20-minute Eventprofs Marketing Live today with myself, Sabrina Myers from Hot Hospitality Exchange, and
Perfect.
my partner in crime, Jason Greenman. Take it away, Jason.
Hello. So today, like you said, we're going to talk about Clubhouse, and is it a good marketing tool for Eventprofs? I'm excited to speak about this with you because I think we have some different points of view, and hope we can have a really nice little debate. But before we do, we had a really good question last week that came up during our chat, and that was from Pamela Benitez, and she was asking about Facebook. We talked about Facebook being kind of the elephant in the room that people don't talk about anymore, but still quite an important platform. So her question is it important for Eventprofs to be on Facebook? Because there's a general consensus that quite a few of the decision makers are still on Facebook. They're looking at Facebook daily. So I have some thoughts on it, but I'll pass it over to you. What do you think about that, Sabrina?
Gosh, so, I'm not very active and present on Facebook. I know that it is an extremely powerful tool for marketing. It's an extremely powerful tool that a lot of businesses and organizations actually use for community building. So the success stories that I've seen for Facebook and the case for it, for example, one of the examples is the Delegate Wranglers, which is a group that is existing, and it is actually in true force a community of event professionals globally that are on this group. They have over 21,000 members, I believe, and they all come from hospitality, travel, and events, and they exchange information. They have dedicated days for dedicated promotions and conversations to be taking place, but it's an open forum where people are from, your industry are coming together and asking questions and having conversations. It's a very, very powerful community, and one that Neil and Diane have done an incredible job in cultivating and creating. Very, very powerful. A second case study member would be Mice Book, which uses the workspace version of Facebook. And it's almost like an intranet of Facebook, a space where you can sign up to and you can share information, and if you're going to be doing podcasts, if you're going to be sharing your information and all of that, it's a great space, again, to build community, have conversations, and share relevant information with your community and create an exchange between buyers and suppliers, as we are called in our industry. And so you are cultivating a space of your own where your target audience is, they are in there, and you are able to use it to market your services and have conversations on relevant topics within that community. So if you're asking me if it's a good platform to be as an event prof, if your objective is to be part of one of these two communities, then yes, that would be it. And if your objective is to build such a community as that, then yes, I think Facebook does have the potential of being a very strong and powerful ally in terms of a social media platform for your business and your brand.
For sure. Yeah, I agree. I think we ignore Facebook because it's kind of the old horse. It's been there forever. People are tired of it. It's not as sexy or exciting as some of the newer guys on the block. But I think it's really important. I'll dive a little bit deeper, but I think it's really important to understand as well that, Facebook has maybe 3 billion users. I think it's 2.75 billion users in the world. That's a huge, massive audience. There's a very, very good chance, going back to the idea of your audience, where's your audience? There's a very good chance that they're on Facebook. It's true that right now it seems the fastest growing segment of new users on Facebook is kind of the older generation, but the statistics show that everybody's still checking into Facebook once a day.
Yeah.
I think it's something that we're ignoring as Eventprofs, but it's something that should be kind of in your toolkit for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, getting back to her original question, I think, yeah, I think she's probably right, Pamela, that a lot of decision makers are on Facebook, and if you're looking for a nice place to get visibility, you shouldn't ignore it for sure.
Absolutely. And in terms of, it is a portal that a lot of independent businesses, small to medium businesses also use to set up Facebook groups to collect their collective members within a space to work together and support each other. So it's definitely, yes.
Yeah. Good. We give it the 2 thumbs up. We don't use it enough ourselves, but
no, we should.
We should. So we got 15 minutes left here. Okay. So let's get into today's topic, which is Clubhouse, and is it a good place for Eventprofs to be doing marketing? So I don't know. Do you want to jump on it first? Is it a good tool for Eventprofs? Why don't you get started, and I'll come back with my
with the debate. Right. So look, I love social media. I love Clubhouse because I think it is a phenomenally powerful marketing tool. Yes. So my answer to this question is yes, it is a good marketing tool for Eventprofs. But to be honest, it is a good marketing tool for anyone that is on the platform. Now, there's a very, very interesting conversation happening now on LinkedIn that Julie started, for example, on diversity and inclusion of the app. That's a whole different other topic, Julie. But I think it's super, super interesting. It is, from that respect, it is the breakdown of diversity on inclusion and its different components are very, very important when you're asking a question like that. So it's one that we won't be able to really touch on today. But it's definitely a good topic for the future 20-minute Eventprofs Marketing Live. So in terms of a good marketing tool for Eventprofs, yes. I always believe that if you're going to be using any social media platform for branding or for selling your services or for marketing your services, then you need to have your purpose for that platform outlined. Now, before you use a platform, like Clubhouse, which is audio only, you have to know what do you want out of this platform if you're going to be using it for marketing? My answer to this question is yes, it's a good marketing tool. Now, my suggestion is you would have to really make or optimize your profile on Clubhouse, right? So that when someone listens to you and you're talking in a conversation and they're intrigued by what you're saying, they are believing that the conversation that they're listening to has brought value. That obviously is number one. You have to use the power of your voice to market yourself and your services, right? And you're authentically sharing valuable content through your voice. That itself is marketing. Now, marketing obviously is a whole manner of things. You use your voice, which then leads someone in the audience to click on your profile and see that, oh, this person is on Instagram, this person is on Twitter. And maybe in your profile, you've put your website that they can copy and paste. You've put who you are, what services do you offer, and how can people work with you. That is what I mean by having a purpose before you use this platform for marketing. You can't just be on it and then you got nothing on your profile. Then you're not marketing. So if you have all those things in place, that leads them to where they need to go in order to be able to give you leads and in order for you to allow that marketing effort to lead to revenue generation. So in short and summary, yes, it is a good marketing tool for Eventprofs.
And you're right. You're right. I mean, in terms of it's hot. There's a lot of really cool conversations going on. I'm going to take the other side here, which is it's a shiny new tool.
Yes.
And if that's, I mean, we want to talk about small businesses too. A lot of the events industry is small business, people that are running, they have limited time and limited resources. And I think that if you're looking at your marketing plan, your marketing strategy, me personally, right now as Clubhouse is, I have higher ROI in other areas, simply because it's very niche right now. I don't think that my audience is fully onto Clubhouse right now. So if I'm spending, let's say I can spend 2 hours a day on Clubhouse or 2 hours a day on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn, I
Correct.
think the content, me personally, that I'm producing on those other networks is going to generate more engagement. I'll have a better chance at creating a nicer funnel, simply because it's so limited, the number of people. I think the people on Clubhouse right now, what I'm seeing, and you have more time on Clubhouse than I do, but there's a lot of thought leadership, right? There's a lot of people who are speakers. There's a lot of people that are doing a lot of self-promotion. What I don't see is I don't see my clients there yet.
Yeah.
It's not to say that they won't be there, isn't it? But at the moment, I'm not sure. I think as an event prof, if you have limited resources, we have to be very careful about how we use those. So
Correct.
I would definitely understand Clubhouse, go in, join some conversations, get a feel for it, understand what's coming. But I would not dedicate more resources to Clubhouse than I would to some of the other existing networks where there's a bigger audience. And
I absolutely agree with that.
Also very important is, like, everybody's complaining about the notifications on Clubhouse because it's true. Like, I made the mistake of following everybody they recommended at the beginning. And I clean that out, and I follow very specific people because it's overwhelming. I think it'd be highly, highly, highly selective in terms of the people you follow, the conversations you join, because you can waste a ton of time on there. So
absolutely, I agree with that,
agree.
and I think I think that in the same vein, any social media platform can be a rabbit hole, right? You can spend. And I have spent, Jason, hours on TikTok. I'm just saying, not making videos myself, but just watching, And the same can happen to anyone on Clubhouse, just listening. You just get again, purpose and moderation. My 2 pieces of advice. Now, is Clubhouse a good marketing tool for event profs? Yes. Should you be using it right now? Depends on your objectives and your purpose. Again, you mentioned resources. If you don't have a lot of time, if you don't have a lot of resources, then don't. But don't discount it, and don't complain about it either. Because I think every social media platform has its advantages and disadvantages as marketing tools. But I do think that there are certain ones that they should be given a shot. You should go on the platform and try to understand it and how you can use it before you decide to make that decision of is this going to be one of the strings of your bow when it comes to social media marketing. Because social media marketing is just one part of marketing as a whole, as we know. So when you do have a social media marketing strategy as part of your brand or your business or your organization, then that within that strategy, you have to determine which social media platforms your audience are on. Like you mentioned, you don't think your target audience is on Clubhouse. So that will naturally put Clubhouse to the bottom of the list for you in terms of social media platforms you want to spend time on, because you don't believe that you will get much from it right now. But if you have Instagram as one of your top, or LinkedIn as your number 1 because you see your audience there, then those are the platforms that you put in place. But again, you've been on the platform, you've explored it, you are trying to get your head around it. And I think that is what is most important, is that you give it a chance. I think everyone that is allowed at this stage, exactly. Those who are invited and on
the
there.
elitists,
I think it's important that you give the platform a chance, because you don't know how it's going to benefit you. You don't know yet what are the ways that this platform is going to be able to generate business and revenue for you. But you cannot discount the fact that it is a platform at the end of the day that is allowing people to have real conversations between real people in real time. There is no filters, there's no editing, there is no recording. Once the conversation is done, it's done, you're out. And the spontaneity of it, I can't even say that word. The spontaneity.
I'm not going to try.
Don't even try. So the directness of it, let's put it that way, the reactivitiness of it, right, is really incredible. And I was just giving a webinar on this very topic a little while ago, and basically someone mentioned that this is an app where if Boris Johnson gives some new announcement, literally in the next 5 minutes, I can go on Clubhouse, open a room, and ask my community, what does everyone feel about that? How do they think this announcement is going to affect the Eventprofs community?
Right.
And there could be 30 people on that conversation giving their tips and their insights and how they're feeling about it, which, Jason, is a very, very powerful thing, which no other social media platform has been able to do. Now, imagine you're part of that conversation in this random chat room that just opened, and you want to give your 2 cents. Someone really loved what you had to say. Then they click your bio. Then they connect with you on LinkedIn. Then it ends up as some kind of a business deal. Et voila, marketing tool.
And I think for me, like the education aspect and the networking aspect are really powerful, right? I think that's super powerful. I think what is still needs to be kind of defined is exactly how am I getting my clients into that funnel and into what we're trying to do. And the other thing that's important about Clubhouse too is I love this spontaneity. Did I get that right? Yeah.
Brilliant. You did
it. But for me personally, it's a problem that it can't be recorded because, again, going back to limited resources, I prefer to create things that are evergreen, that people can refer to in the future, that will help with SEO, and search results, that people can refer to in the future. And
so
content. Yeah, exactly. And I think it's a fantastic place to have conversations, a really good, and I love that, you can immediately connect to people that you may not have been willing to connect to before. They can invite you up on stage, you can really speak to the thought leaders. But right now it's a different animal in my mind. It's a great place for networking, for learning, for brainstorming, for creating partnerships, finding people to collaborate with. In terms of driving really good quality leads to my business, I've yet to see that. It's not to say it's not going to come.
Out on that.
It's not to say, exactly. It's not to say it's not going to come, because I think it probably will. It's just like everything else. It's going to take some time to find its place and figure out how that's going to happen. But
I also think it's very important to say here to everyone who is questioning Clubhouse right now, let's all not forget that this app is still in beta. This is a tech company that's in beta. This is kind of like a voice Slack tool that has been launched into the sphere. And a lot of the talk about why it's been invite only and why it's iOS only, it's because iOS users apparently, allegedly, are seen as early adopters of tech. And that's why they've decided to do it that way. It could also be something very, very technical I don't understand to do with coding. And maybe that's why this is developing the way that it's developing. But we are still in the very, very early stages of Clubhouse. And we don't know that some billionaire, or there's not going to be billions of VC investment, and that parts of it are going to change. Things we enjoy now might change.
It will for sure. I mean, it's
features and functionalities would change. So that's something to keep in mind. We do have a question from Kiara. Thank you for joining us, Kiara. Ronald, Heidi, hello back, you beautiful person. Heidi is waiting for the Android Clubhouse revolution. I'm sure many are.
Absolutely.
So we have this question from Kiara. And this could be actually the topic for next week that we start off with.
Okay.
So Kiara asks, what do you suggest to include in your bio on Clubhouse to make it appealing?
Okay.
Excellent question. So what do you think?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, right now, what is it? It's Instagram and Twitter are the only links that you're allowed to have. So make sure that those are filled in, and both of those bios look really well, so that when they go to those bios, look great. I mean, for me personally, in my bio, I have exactly the topics I want to be talking about. So like the topics that I want to be searched for or invited on the stage for. So I'm not getting into it's very clear, very concise. I think I have like Eventprofs. I have to go into my app, but I think in the bio, be very clear about what you want to be talking about, because it's a conversation app. And that's probably what you do. I wouldn't get into too much about who I am, or, you know, I'm
that you like dogs and you like going
exactly,
fishing, and no,
exactly,
don't put any of
exactly.
that stuff
I
on
think people
top.
are moving. I get the feeling people are moving pretty fast there. They see the people in the room, they go under profile, and if in those first 2 lines they don't see a topic that they're really interested in, they'll probably move on.
So whatever you want anyone to know, Kiara, you should put in the first 3 lines of your Clubhouse bio. That's it. So if you want to know, and ideally we say it's what we want people to know that you do. And if you are using it for marketing and business, then how can people work with you? So if you're a coach, if you're an event agency, if you are, you know, organizing meditation sessions, whatever it is, they should be on the 3 lines, because that's where your hook is. And that's what's going to make them read the rest of your profile, because they actually do have to click a link to say read more and then read the rest of your profile. So, you know, perfect that part of your profile on your Clubhouse to make it more appealing. Make sure, as Jason said, we are out of time. To make sure that your Twitter profile and your Instagram profile are as powerful and good, and reiterate what you're saying on your Clubhouse profile, and then you are good to go.
And let me just add one more thing to that. I think what you said is really important. The top 3 lines, the visual part. But I think in Clubhouse, you are allowed quite a few characters. So if you do want to expand after that on some more personal things or give it a little bit more flavor, I totally encourage that. But make sure those first 3 lines are really punchy. They need to really pop out and understand why you're there and what you're there to talk about.
Exactly. Perfect. So that sums up 20 Minutes Eventprofs Marketing Live for today. Thank you everyone for joining us and your questions.
Thank you.
If you had any more questions and you're watching this as a replay, put your questions in the comments and we will endeavor to answer them. And if one of them is a fabulous question, we will start with it next week in our 20-minute Eventprofs Marketing Live. Now, me and Jason right now are going to do something very crazy, aren't we, Jason? We're about to close this live and jump into Clubhouse, the very thing we're talking about.
It's like the after party. Let's
go.
After
party, exactly. So we're actually going to be jumping off this live, ending it, and we're going to be jumping into a Clubhouse room. So if you are on Clubhouse, find me, find Jason, find the room. It will be called the Eventprofs Marketing Live room, and join us in there to hear us continue to speak about this.
If more questions, come on over and let's chat.
Exactly. Perfect. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for joining, and we will see you next week. And we will let you know what the topic is next week. So you can register, put a little notification. So when we go live, just join us. Today we've been live streaming to Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. It's very exciting. All right, everyone, have a great Wednesday, and we'll catch you next week. And whoever's on Clubhouse, we see you in a few moments.
See you in a couple minutes.